two suns theory, the Kali Yuga cycle completes in the year 2025, 2 years from now, according to staff writer Patrick C. Embedded Reality. The Yuga cycle doctrine tells us that we're now living in the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, when moral virtue and mental capabilities reach their lowest point in the cycle. The Indian epic, the Mahabharata, describes the Kali Yuga as a period when the world soul, quote-unquote, is black in hue. The only quarter of virtue remains, only 1/4 of virtue remains, which slowly dwindles to zero at the end of the Kali Yuga. Men turn to wickedness, disease, lethargy, anger, natural calamities, anguish, and fear of scarcity dominate. Penance, sacrifices, and religious observance fall into disuse. All creatures degenerate. Change passes over all things without exception. The Kali Yuga Iron Age was preceded by 3 others, yugas: Satya or Krita Yuga, the Golden Age, Treta Yuga, Silver Age, and the Dwaparta Yuga, Bronze Age. In the Mahabharata, Hanuman gives the following description of the Yuga cycle to the Pandava prince Bhima. It is evident that the original Yuga cycle was based on the Saptarsi calendar. It was of 12,000-year duration, comprising 4 yugas of equal duration, 2,700 years each, separated by transition periods of 300 years. The complete Yuga cycle of 24,000 years was comprised of an ascending and descending Yuga cycle, which followed each other for eternity like the cycles of day and night. For the past 2,700 years, we have been evolving through the ascending Kali Yuga, and this Yuga is coming to an end in 2025. The end of the Yuga will inevitably be followed by cataclysmic earth changes and civilization collapses, as is characteristic of the transitional periods. The Dwapara Yuga is fundamentally different from the Kali in the spiritual and material dimensions, as can be gleaned from the ancient texts. Hence, we may anticipate far-reaching changes in our environment and possibly in our cosmic neighborhood as we transition to this period of enhanced consciousness. The current upswing in tectonic activities and the increased incidence of extreme weather phenomena may indicate fact that we are slowly entering into a period of volatile earth changes. We need to be aware of these greater cycles of time that govern human civilization and the changes that are looming in the horizon. This is what Bibhu Dev Mistra claims. Quote, the Krita Yuga is so named because there was but one religion and all men were saintly. Therefore they were not required to perform religious ceremonies. Men neither bought nor sold. There were no poor and no rich. There was no need to labor, because all that men required was obtained by the power of the will. The Krita Yuga was without disease. There was no lessening with the years. There was no hatred or vanity or evil throughout whatsoever, evil thought, no sorrow, no fear. All mankind could attain to supreme blessedness. The universal soul was white. The identification of self with the universal soul was the whole religion of the perfect age. In the Treta Yuga, sacrifices began, and the world soul became red. Virtue lessened 1/4. Mankind sought truth and performed religious ceremonies. They obtained what they desired by giving and by doing. In the Dwapara Yuga, the aspect of the world soul was yellow. Religion lessened 1/2. The Veda was divided into 4 parts, and although some had knowledge of the 4 Vedas, others knew but 3 or 1. Mind lessened, truth declined, and there came desire and diseases and calamities, because of these men had to undergo penances. It was a decadent age by reason of the prevalence of sin, end quote. This is in the Mahabharata, Book 3, Vana Parva, Trithra Yatra Parva, section Kisari Moha Ganguly, 1883 to 1896. Read the entire analysis, which explains in detail why the 4,320,000 year cycle is not valid The end of the Kali Yuga is in 2025, unraveling the mysteries of the Yuga cycle. In the last canto of the Bhagavad Purana, there is a list of predictions and prophecies about the dark times for the present age of Kali Yuga. The following 15 predictions, written 5,000 years ago by sage Vedavyasa. 15 predictions, written 5,000 years ago. This is prediction 1. Religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali. Prediction 2. Sources are by Srimad Bhagavatam. Prediction 2. In Kali Yuga, wealth alone will be considered the sign of a man's good birth, proper behavior, and fine qualities, and law and justice will be applied only on the basis of one's power. Prediction 3. Men and women will live together merely because of superficial attraction, and success in business will depend on deceit. Womanliness and manliness will be judged according to one's experience in sex, and a man will know as a Brahmana just by his wearing a thread. Prediction 4. A person's spiritual position will be ascertained merely according to external symbols, and on that same basis people will change from one spiritual order to the next. A person's propriety will be seriously questioned if he does not earn a good living, and one who is very clever at juggling words will be considered a learned scholar. Prediction 5. A person will be judged unholy if he does not have money, and hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement, and a person will think he is fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath. Prediction 6. A sacred place will be taken to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at a distance, and beauty will be thought to depend on one's hairstyle. Filling the belly will become the goal of life, and one who is audacious will be accepted as truthful. He who can maintain a family will get regarded as an expert man, and the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. Prediction 7. As the earth thus becomes crowded with a corrupt population, whoever among any of their social classes shows himself to be the strongest will gain political power. Prediction 8. Harassed by famine and excessive taxes, people will resort to eating leaves, roots, flesh, and wild honey, fruits, flowers, and seeds. Struck by drought, they will become completely ruined. Prediction 9. The citizens will suffer greatly from cold, wind, heat, rain, and snow. They will be further tormented by quarrels, hunger, thirst, disease, and severe anxiety. Prediction 10. The maximum duration of life for human beings in Kali Yuga will become 50 years. Prediction 11. Men will no longer protect their elderly parents. Prediction 12. In Kali Yuga, men will develop hatred for each other, even over a few coins. Giving up all friendly relations, they will be ready to lose their own lives and kill even their own relatives. Prediction 13. Uncultured men will accept charity on behalf of the Lord and will earn their livelihood by making a show of austerity and wearing a mendicant's dress. Those who know nothing about religion will mount a high seat and presume to speak on religious principles. Prediction 14. Servants will abandon a master who has lost his wealth, even if that master is a saintly person of exemplary character. Masters will abandon an incapacitated servant, even if that servant has been in the family for generations. Cows will be abandoned or killed when they stop giving milk. Prediction 15. Cities will be dominated by thieves. The Vedas will be contaminated by speculative interpretations of atheists. Political leaders will virtually consume the citizens, and the so-called priests and intellectuals will be devotees of their bellies and genitals. So if the end of days are approaching rapidly, how might it come about? This brings us to the topic of the two suns theory. The two suns theory states that our sun, one part of a dual system, and that the other sun is not visible most of the time due to distance, elliptical orbit, and the fact that it has all but exhausted its fuel source, leaving a brown or dark star. Now we do have, according to what NASA told us a couple of years back, a woman announced that NASA has found a brown dwarf star at the edge of our universe, of our solar system. So, what does that have to do with this? Who knows? Now, the article goes on to say, I'd like to point out that the likelihood that our sun is part of a dual system is supported by recent scientific discoveries. The scientists are puzzled with phenomena of two suns. Over 80% of all solar systems have multiple suns, so it's possible that we live in a binary solar system with two suns as well. Recent discoveries point to the existence of an old brown dwarf. Our solar system is surrounded by a vast collection of icy bodies called the Oort cloud. If our sun were a part of the binary system, in which two gravitationally bound stars orbit a common center of mass, this interaction could disturb the Oort cloud on a periodic basis, sending comets whizzing towards us. The Oort cloud is thought to extend about 1 light year from the sun. The closest star known to the sun is Proxima Centauri, located 4.2 light years away. I discovered that author and researcher Laura Knight-Jadskis was given some additional insight into the two suns theory through her conversations with the Cassiopeians. The name Cassiopeia was given by a consciously channeled source, which was accessed in 1994 after 2 years of experimental work. The source identified itself by saying, "We are you in the future." The information received from this experiment is presented in the context of broad-ranging historical, scientific, and other metaphysical material. The Cassiopeian communications are strikingly similar to the research done by Dolores Cannon, who obtained her information through use of deep regression with thousands of subjects. While Dolores focused on the positive aspects of our reality and the coming changes, though she did acknowledge they exist, the C's make sure to point the darker aspects and implications. Many have been turned off by the perceived negativity of their messages, but the C's have stated the reason they share such information is because information protects and ignorance endangers. That there is an automatic protection, a subconscious protection that is activated simply by being aware of an issue. The following communication expands on the two-sun theory and a potential end-time scenario. A. Communication from Cassiopeia, the C's are or ourselves from the future. Question. A is the communication from Cassiopeia. Q is questioned by one of the group members. Session date August 3, 1996. A. Since you have broached the subject, are you familiar with the two suns theory? Q. No. What is it? Referring to our sun and the possibility of Jupiter being a sun in the making? No. Okay, what is the twin sun theory? Theory that the sun is really a double star. Well, if it is a double star, how come we don't see the other one? Where is the other one and why don't we see it? I don't think I have ever heard of that, have you? It seems vaguely familiar for some reason. Is this factual correct? Wait a moment. They are bringing in the twin sun expert, no doubt. Now, where were we? We were talking about the twin sun phenomenon theory, which is that the sun is part of a twin system. Yes. Is this theory correct? Not yet, you were jumping the gun. Okay, you brought this up. You indicated that yes, our sun is part of a dual system, yes? And that there is another star, another sun here, yes. Can we see it? Can we see it at this point in time? Can you? No. Not that I'm aware of it. Is the reason we cannot see is because it's always on the other side of the sun from us? That it orbits in such a way that we can never see it? Orbits, yes. Assuming it's there, however, we did not confirm that. How did we? No, you didn't, but you did bring it up. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, you brought up the twin sun theory and then indicated that our sun is one of the two suns in the solar system. A says maybe. The sun that we designate as Sol is one member. Maybe. Is Sol two stars combined? No. What is dark matter and what are dark stars? Are dark stars something like black holes? No. Are they? I think it would be a star that has collapsed upon itself and the gravitational field of the star no longer allows light to escape? No. Okay, it's a black hole? Yes. Dark matter that I have read about is what the astronomical community calls all the loose stuff floating around out in the cosmos that must exist because of the equations, but they can't see it. Yes. Would dark stars be part of this? Yes. So there is a dark matter and dark stars? Yes. The dark matter they cannot see because it is dark? Yes. How about brown stars? Okay, brown stars I've heard of. There is yellow, red, blue, green. Okay, our star burns as a yellow star because of the matter composed of hydrogen, etc. Close. Other stars burn different colors in a viable spectrum because of the makeup of the star. Yes, but not brown ones. Brown ones are not brown because of the makeup. Okay, you have white, red, yellow, and blue. Do those colors represent temperature? Partially, but that is not the point. Is Hale-Bopp a brown star? No. Hale-Bopp has nothing to do with this discussion. Hale-Bopp is just another flop. Okay, brown stars. The colors we see are part temperature and part material. How about the spectral shift which determines direction? Yes, but that is not the point. What is the point of a brown star? No, try the most obviously apparent. Well, it's one that just has not started cooking yet. Opposite. Okay, it's burned out so long it's run out of gas? Yes. It's running out of matter that gives it color? Why did we put brown in quotes? Because a brown star is assumed to be one that's burning out, but is that possible? No. Because I don't know. How easy is it to see a brown against a black background? Not easy at all. That's why we can't see the dark matter. That is why scientists dubbed it brown. How does brown star connect to twin sun theory? Guess. Okay, let's talk about this. For some reason we have to work through this to maintain free will. Is this star small enough that it's orbiting with planets? No, we are leading you to something if you will be patient. Okay, lead on. What we want to know about this. They just asked if we understood what a brown star was. Do you? What is the significance of a brown star? Dark star. It is a dark star? Okay, if it is there. Well, you will put me out of misery and tell me, wait, a dark star is dark because it does not give off light? It's still a star and acts like a star? Yes, and if that has an elliptical orbit, would it maybe be come and go? What science astronomy has described as double stars are two stars that are close together with some sort of interactive orbit, but that is not necessarily the only way two stars can exist. Close, as you perceive from your vantage point, but how would you like to embark on a bicycle trip between them? So the ones that we're aware of and see can be so far apart that there can be a lot between. So our astronomers have not recognized this possibility? Yes, they have. They know, but don't talk about it? So we may have in this series a dark star orbiting. And what would happen if you did? Well, and it like comes and goes. Every 3,600 years? Maybe. And maybe this dark star also has some planets orbiting it. Okay, change of direction. Oort cloud and comet cluster and sun twin occasionally passing through the former like a bowling ball through pins. How does a dark star passing through the Oort cloud relate to the comet cluster? Cause and effect. So the comet cluster is caused by the dark star smashing through the Oort cloud? Well, not necessarily smashing, but passing through close enough for its gravity to change things. But they said, like a bowling ball through pins. The gravity of that star would cause the comets to be flung in all directions. Is the Earth like a pin, a bowling pin? No, that's the Oort cloud. Explain what the Oort cloud is, Laura. Does everybody know what the Oort cloud is? I don't. Think of how your biblical prophecies speak of a very terrifying period, followed by an apparent renewal of normalcy, followed by the end. We learned about the comet cluster very early on. Now you're going beyond that and giving us a reason as to why this comet cluster. Laura, please clarify exactly what the prophecy says. Well, actually, the Noah syndrome is particularly prophetic exegesis with a little science thrown in to help clarify what such occurrences must be along a natural order. The prophecy said of those days where not short, if those days were not shortened, would no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake will those days be shortened. Now, now can you tell me what this means? A says, not yet. Q, where are we? We have a dark star flinging comets like bowling pins. Your biblical prophecies speak of a period of terror and chaos followed by calm, and then unexpectedly, amidst seeing overwhelming peace and renewal and prosperity, the end. Okay, elucidate, please. I'd say that this end is the passing through the realm order, the wave. Yes, but don't you know of the prophecies we are referencing? Are you talking about the Epistle of Peter where it says the heavens will end with a thunderous crash and the earth will burn up with fire? No. Thank God. Are you talking about the book of Daniel where a number is given regarding the time period between the one event and the other? Close. Okay, where do I go to find it and study it? So we're talking about number 63 as in years? Yes, but that is not correct. The number of years is not correct. It's possible. Is it possible, since you have brought this up on other occasions through technology, to either skip this event by creating a means of travel to the next realm or to create a parallel universe? No. Well, one thing can be established. What would happen if the brown star, that is the sun's twin, were to get close enough to be illuminated by the sun? Well, if it were close enough to be illuminated, the obvious result is that it would be seen. People would panic. Yes, governments would fall, and terror and chaos, and when it departs again, everything will seem to be fine, but then they won't realize that the Oort cloud has been hit. Oh, sugar. And then what? Is it not the Oort cloud or the comets that's going to cause all this terror and carrying on? It's going to be seeing of the illuminated brown star, which will go away, and then no one will see what's coming. And this is talked about in both the Bible and Nostradamus, but it was incomprehensible before. Okay, how long will it take the comets to get from the Oort cloud to here? Let's just say that the cluster travels much faster than the usual cometary itinerary, and this is because they are traveling in the wake of a large sun-sized gravity well. And we have spoken of the comet cluster before, and we've told you that this time it rides the wave. Is this wave the energy from the brown star? No. The wave is the wave, so the dark star is going to come through the Oort cloud, and it does not have to get too close. Any star that gets that close is too close. Its gravity will propel these comets in our direction, and on top of that, they are being propelled by the wave from behind, so they are being both pulled and pushed. Are they being kicked and they get on the wave and that's already on the move? Yes, this time you have had the comet cluster before in antiquity, but the wave was last here eons ago. Is this wave a gravity wave? Interrelated. Okay, now, well, the wave is from a form of energy. Yes, they once told us that it was hyperkinetic sensate. Realm border, this is your quantum factor, Laura, so plug it into Noah accordingly and check out the results. Does this brown or dark star have planetary bodies of its own other than sharing planets with the sun? No. Okay, no correlation to Sitchin and his planet Nibiru. If the wave is the quantum factor of the transition of the solar system, what is a factor for the transition of an atom? Electrons emit what? Photons, an electrical charge of some kind. I thought that an electron did not have any parts, that it is an elementary particle. Right. What the heck does an electron emit? An EM field? What did we say about gravity? What did we say? It was it. What was it? The gravity collects? What were you reading earlier? Read it. Segments from previous sessions. Electromagnetically. Gravity emitted by an electron, electromagnetically. What is it that causes a quantum transition? A collecting and dispersing of gravity. What is it about an atom that causes it to collect or disperse? How does the electron fit into the quantum of an atom? Well, it orbits the nucleus. Planets orbit the sun. The energy that an electron collects or any other part of the atom collects that causes a quantum transition comes to it from the outside of it. A wave? How many electrons orbit the nucleus? It depends on the atom. The number of electrons determine what an atom is, an atom of, a number of particles it has orbiting. Yes. and they orbit in specific shells. Yes. How does the sun relate to this macrodynamically? Okay, something from the nucleus of the atom upon the electrons causing the transaction of the sun. Are you asking how many electrons orbit the nucleus of the sun? Different atoms, different numbers of any atom? Okay, it varies. Going down, because there's a lot of here. Completion of the grand cycle. And who says that the sun's twin appears every 3,600 years? Okay, we have the 3,600 year comet cluster cycle. The sun twin is another cycle together. And then we have the wave, which is a grand cycle. So we have three things causing a transition in nature, like biorhythms. Yeah, we have a triple bad day coming up, or a good day, depending on which way you look at it. Bad day if you're John D. Rockefeller, good day if you're Mahatma Gandhi. So does something like a 3-cycle event also occur in subatomic transitions like biorhythm? Yes. So there are 3 factors to be considered, or more than 3. Either or. It's partly the observer that adds one of the factors, consciousness. Yes. So if we see 3 separate cycles coming together here, everything reflects macrodynamically. We suggest you absorb for now, and fear not, for this is not imminent. Good night and end of session, it says. So from Dolores Cannon's perspective, there has been a series of 5 waves of volunteers, higher dimensional souls that have incarnated on Earth to raise the awareness and vibrational level of as many as possible before the great separation at the end of the cycle. The Earth itself is currently separating in 2, the old Earth and the new, which will exist in a higher dimension. Those left on the old Earth will repeat the grand cycle, face cataclysms, repeating incarnations to work out karma, while those on the new Earth will work with higher dimensional souls to gradually leave the 3rd dimension body behind and learn the ropes of the 4th dimension existence. So Laura Knight Janity's communication with C agrees what we are fast approaching the end of the grand cycle, that there will be a separation of souls based on frequency and awareness. Those left behind will restart back on ancient Earth, working through karma incarnation after incarnation until the next grand cycle, which will provide the same opportunity to move into the 4th dimension. Laura's comments with C dated November 16, 1994. And there's a lot more there to read. So this is Unbedded Reality. I'll leave a link below for you. This is by staff writer Patrick C. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box